Everybody, welcome back to my channel, 1/35 scale modeler. My name's Dean. Well, as you can see here today, I've got the German self-propelled Wespe. This one was used on the Italian front. The Wespe is actually based on the Panzer II chassis, and this is the Tamiya model. This is 1/35 scale. The item number is 35358. It's got 4 figures and there's 2 types of markings. The markings, I believe, are both from Anzio, but I'll confirm that when I take a look inside. So on the box art on the side, you can see a top view of the 29th Panzer Division in Italy in 1944. Yeah, that's got to be Anzio, isn't it? But again, I'll check. These are the 4 figures inside. It's actually quite a small model, I believe, but the amount of detail in this is incredible. Yeah, so you've got Tamiya colours, the dark yellow and the dark green, and that's it there, and just confirms what the kit number is. And that's the front box art, and it says it's a 1/35 military miniature. It's an open top Wespe, accurately captures the detailed interior. It's got a parts rack, radio, ammo, flare cases and more. I've had a look inside, and the tracks on this have been injection moulded, so they'll be built up on each side. Comes with 4 figures, and it's got 2 markings. Anyway, let's take a look inside the box. So what do you get? So you get the actual instruction booklet. Oh, you get some background information, that's really nice. Some tech tips, always helpful. Let's have a look at these before we go in the box. So the background information, that's all Japanese. Inside. Okay, yeah. So this is the Italian, this is the English version for me. So it talks about when these were actually being brought into service in the 1930s. Used in 1941 in Russia, 1942, right up until 1944 when they were used in Italy, until eventually I think they got banned. I don't know why. They look quite cool. Yeah, so you know, some nice information there. If you are interested in the background, then it's great. Then obviously have a look at that. Put that in there. The actual instruction booklet itself doesn't have any sprue callouts from what I can see. So a quick look, just make sure. No sprue callouts. So let's just go through the booklet itself. So the booklet gives you a little bit of caution, talks about caution in terms of, you know, reading the instructions carefully, using the glues, making sure when you're painting, you're in a well ventilated area. These are all common sense. This is all common sense guidance, but for anybody that's new to the modelling world, may not be aware of these and may just think it's harmless, when in reality, you know, overexposure is not great. What paints you can use, and they give you a full list here, which is helpful. What tools they recommend. So they're talking about their own cements, sharp knife. Always be careful when you're using a sharp knife. Side cutters. Try and get the best side cutters you can, really. Pair of tweezers and scissors. I think the scissors are useful when you're doing your decals. Okay. Oh, so they've given you an insert of tech tips, but they also give you some tech tips anyway in the booklet, and these are about cutting off part pieces, how far down the sprue to cut it, dry fitting. Do you know what? I can't recommend that enough, and that's good for them to call it out. Dry fitting is really important. Make sure that you actually keep a track of the parts that you're using, so that when you're going through the instruction booklet, you know where the sprues are. And although the sprues are labelled A, B, C and D, they're actually suggesting that you actually clearly label it a bit more, maybe write your own kit on it, what sort of paints they want you to use, etc. There you go. Okay, so body, You're building up all the suspension arms. You're putting on the towing hook. Nothing too complicated there. Then you're building up the road wheels. You've got your drive sprocket and your idler wheel. These are then added on. And these don't necessarily need to go on straight away, although they're showing you to do that. I do find sometimes when you're building a mod like this, these, you know, sometimes it's better just to have these out of the way, particularly for painting, then add them on after. Got the, I think that's the exhaust there. Then they're talking about, or then they're showing you the fighting compartment, building the fighting compartment up, how that sits inside. They continue on in the fighting compartment, but slightly further back, and they're adding some pieces in there. Then they're attaching the tracks. Again, as I mentioned earlier, maybe, you know, you can paint your wheels up, whatever. Add these on at a later, when the vehicle's been painted. Likewise, I would suggest adding on these as well. If you're going to build it and not paint it, then obviously, yeah, fine, do that. But I would suggest adding them on as at the end. They are asking you to pay particular attention to the direction of the tracks, because that's important to represent a more realistic figure there. The gun itself comes in 2 halves. Disappointing, because it's always difficult to do cleanup on those. But I think a little bit of patience and care when assembling it, and then a nice soft file, and I think you may be able to get a nice clean joint. Something you can use that I always find helpful in situations like this is using sprue goo. If anyone knows what sprue goo is, good. If you don't, and you think it might be helpful for me to show you how to perhaps make some sprue goo and how you could use it, then drop it in the comments. I'll be more than happy to do so. Then the howitzer is actually built up then into the cradle itself, where it then can be elevated and for when the troops are using it for fighting. There's a lot of detail in this model, I'm noticing. You've got the observation and aiming eye. It looks like you've even got some kind of form of some sort of suspension, you know, hydraulic suspension, what have you. That's always helpful. Then you've got the front guard, and this would have been a swinging howitzer. So not only would it have been able to elevate, it would have been able to move left and right. And if you imagine the size of this being a Panzer II, this would have been quite a quick moving vehicle. So yeah, quite handy in battles, particularly with grenadiers. You're then building up the sides of the upper hull. They're then asking you to attach the howitzer. Now the howitzer will be a movable piece in this model, so how you actually go about that is quite important, so follow the instructions very carefully. You then fix the upper hull onto the actual hull and start building out some of the pieces around the hull itself. You then fit into the fighting compartment. I think it's an MG30, what is it, MG34, might be, not sure. That goes, that's actually stowed, so it won't be out, which is a shame because it'd be quite nice to have it out. If there's a way of doing that, I might try that. You've got other pieces that can be stowed as well in the fighting compartment. Obviously, all of these will need to be painted beforehand. You've got the radio kit that goes in there as well. More details and elements inside the fighting compartment. Some kind, string. Oh, they must provide some kind of string or something for the towing hook that gets tied onto the vehicle. Always nice to see. That looks like the what's that? It's a rear panel. Rear panel there. Lots of detail. S hooks, crowbars, shovels, pickaxes. It shows you how to tie the tow cable. The jack system, an axe there. How the jack sits in. Lots and lots of interest to be added on for visual. Then you come on to the 4 figures, and you've got the commander, you've got one of the gun crew there. He looks like he's holding some kind of barrel cleaning tool there. You've got a gunner. He may be kind of just holding down the howitzer barrel. And there's another gun crew member, number 2, and he's actually holding a shell. It then shows you how to position the figures in the actual fighting compartment. And then it talks about the markings. Let's just confirm this. Yeah, these are Anzio. Yeah, Anzio. So this is the 26th Panzer Division, Italy, 1944, near Anzio. This is the 29th Division in Italy, near Anzio. This would have been quite a fast-moving situation then, because obviously the landings around that area were happening as well, and so this would have been quite a handy little piece to have. And it does show all the different painting configurations and how the markings for the divisions are added on. And it just talks about the painting and what decals to apply. It gives you the part codes. Oh, this is quite handy. In this particular kit, they've got some contact details, and if there's any parts that are missing, they've actually got item codes here that you can use. I think I'm okay, but again, it's good. So this is the 1/35 scale model. Right, okay. And yeah, we've seen enough of these tech tip guys. Right, let's have a look at the actual. Right, let's put those down there. Let's have a look at the sprues. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bags of sprues. 7 bags of sprues. Let's have a look at. Okay, so this is the lower hole. And you can see just on the sides of it, with 7 bags of sprues and most of the upper hole already pre-made. There's so much detail to this. This is going to be an excellent vehicle to build. I mean, the casting, the moulding on these Tamiya, as always, is going to be excellent. If I can catch it in the light, but you can see even the detail of the rivets all underneath. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. Really clear. It feels nice as well. It actually does feel nice as well. A lot of stuff's already like on there okay to help you, so that when you're sticking on the wheels, you're not got wobbly bits that might fall off if they're glued. Yeah, really nice. Let's have a look at this piece here. So this would be the upper hole. So you've got like, yeah, so this would be upper hole here at the front. There's the front hatch. This would be going towards the rear where the fighting compartment is. So yeah, that's one of the hatches that will go in there. These are some grills that go on the edges here. I mean, the actual moulding's really good. I mean, if you listen to this, that's the kind of texture where like it's non-slip. Really nice. All the ejector pin marks are hidden out of view, so that's always, you know, with Tamiya you're not going to get it wrong. That's that pin that you want you to use when you're building up the probably go in there. That then goes onto here, and then the howitzer would spin on that. Yeah, that's really nice, really cool. These then are sided. You've got left and right, or right and left, or right and left, left and right. I don't know, but we'll see. But then you've got the idler wheels. Yeah, you can see it's all printed really well. The detail here of the tracks is really good. These are the swing arms. You can even see the attention to detail on these leaf springs are really good. There's nothing out of place there. In terms of ejector pin marks, very, very limited, because most of the ejector pins are actually on the sprue. But for these flat pieces, they would have wanted to use those to to give that square push out. Again, hidden out of view. That's going to go on that. You'll never see it. These are some of the shells. Again, this side is exactly the same. You know, you got your idler wheel. You got your leaf springs. Building up your tyre. But yeah, you got your wheels, hubcaps. More track. Oh, these must be the shell cases, boxes. Yeah, really nice. Part of a machine gun. Look, hooks that go on. More shell cases. Just lots and lots of detail. The S hook. Really nice detail, and the quality is excellent, as you'd expect from a Tamiya kit, to be honest. Oh, right, so this must be the towing cable that they're talking about. That'd just be a piece of thread. Perfectly acceptable if you want to use that. If you want to go for a bit more detail, you can actually get quite thin wire, which is quite pliable and can be used instead, but it's really down to personal preference. I can't see anything wrong with this, to be honest, so, you know. So these are the tracks that I was talking about, and they're already pre-cast. And they've got, I don't know if you can see that, I'll try and, but they've already got the built-in sag that is always, you know, gives that realistic view of what it would look like, which is excellent. That's the MG34. More, you know, lots of pieces here that will all be put together, and all this would be nice, you know, to paint up a bit of graphite pencil on there just to give it the polished look, as if it's been riding on a road or something. Because in Italy, I suppose they would have been using the roads to actually move quite quickly. And again, this is the opposite side, and there's another MG34. So they were including probably more than you need, but again, the print quality is excellent. I mean, if you look at the guide horns on here, are excellent, really good. And I hope you can see that kind of. You can see how the sprue is actually made to that sag, so it's really, really clever how they've done that. This will be then the howitzer itself, and then you can see you've got the two halves here that will go together, and that's what I'm talking about, using sprue glue maybe to fill out the pieces where when you glue it together there is that little bit of a sort of sag, and the sprue glue just helps to fill it up. These are some edgings that go on the side of the vehicle. With a Panzer II, they would have been, yeah, on the left. This would have been the elevator for the howitzer. You got some handles here. That would have been the optics for it. I mean, lots and lots of detail. Really is lots of detail. This is a lovely kit. It really is a lovely. I thoroughly recommend this kit. Yeah, really, really nice. Really nice. Okay, so with this piece, you're now adding some side structure to the upper hull. That's the front protection plate for the howitzer. You've got, these are the side protection plates for the elevating axis. You've got some radiator grills here, some cleaning barrels. You've got some kit here that looks like a bit of a radio. More. This would be at the rear of the fighting compartment, and then these spots here would be like for these would have been for the shells. You got an axe, pickaxe, crowbar, shovel, crank handle. Lots of interest to be added to the vehicle. Lots of painting. I mean, even the inside of this is all very nicely detailed. And there are some ejector pin marks I suspect these would be hidden by some cases or boxes, so you wouldn't need to see them, but it wouldn't be difficult to fill these if they weren't. But overall, a really well presented kit. Oh, and last but not least, the figures that come with it. Now this is 2018, I believe. So these will be very detailed. I mean, like you can see here, you know, you've got the full figure there. You know, the clothes are all nicely creased and sort of as if you know they're in reality. Got the commander holding his map. Got head there, part of a leg that will be assembled onto here. These look like the top lines for the head, so this would be then fitted onto here. Then the head would be attached to that, and then the arms. But nothing seems to. I mean, in terms of flash, I can't see any. Can't see any flash. The only places you're gonna have to clean up is where you take them off the sprue. If you cut far enough away here and then gently ease it back in, that'll be nice and easy to clean up. There's a hand there holding a barrel cleaner. Those are the towing hook eyes that this piece of thread will be used for. So, you know, how you attach that, it's up to you. These are some more. So there's already four shells already, and there's another 2, 5 here. So there's plenty of shells to be added in. You've got the helmets, you've got the commander's headphones, goggles. There's a sidearm there. These are some spent shells that would probably go into boxes to look like there's more in there. But once again, you know, Tamiya have shown injection molding. It's excellent, really is. Okay, so what do I think? I think this is an excellent model for an intermediate builder. For a beginner, yeah, it would be a challenge. It is. Don't get me wrong, it's a Panzer II. So it is an early Panzer build. But with this particular model, there is so much detail on there in terms of placement, test fitting, making sure that the howitzer barrels fitted together. I mean, look at all these different shells that need to be painted and added in. You know, you want to try and create that interest there. So, yeah, I'd say this would be an excellent model for an intermediate builder. Yeah, and I would thoroughly recommend it. Last but not least, and I've forgotten this myself actually. I apologise. Let's have a look at the decals. So they've got their own little individual bag, but you know, as you can see, you've got 2 different division markings. There'll be some epaulette markings for the soldiers or for the figures, but very, very minimal. It's minimal, and it's you know, it's fine. See, what can I say? Yeah, I thoroughly recommend it. Thank you for watching.